guys, welcome back to the channel. In the last lecture, we have discussed one problem on shear flow in built-up section, right? Where we have calculated the spacing required for fasteners or nails to make a built-up section, right? So today also we will discuss one problem on shear flow in built-up section where we will calculate the spacing of the nails, right? In this problem, we are having the cross section of a beam over here. As you can see in this problem, this portion and this portion are connected by these fasteners or nails. This portion is connected to this portion through this fastener, right? In longitudinal direction. Okay, these are aligned in longitudinal direction. Similarly, some lanes or fasteners are also connected for this member and between this member and this member, right? So this fastener and this fastener is restricting the relative movement between this portion and this portion. This fastener or nail is restricting the relative movement between this portion and this portion. Similarly, this fastener at here will resist the relative movement between this portion and this portion, right? So in the problem, what we are giving is that the maximum shear force is coming onto the cross section is 700 pounds, right? And the maximum shear force that each nail can handle is 100 pounds. For this thing, we need to calculate what will be the spacing required for the nails, or you can say for the fasteners, right? So before proceeding to this lecture, before proceeding further, I would like to discuss something which we already discussed in the previous lecture. Okay, let us discuss that thing. Suppose I have a cross section of a beam over here. Okay, and I need to calculate the stress at this point, stress at EF location, and this is the cross section of a beam A, B, C, D. Okay, if I need to calculate the shear stress at EF location, I can take the area E, C, D, F, O, or area A, B, E, F, right? So it's upon me or it's upon you whether which area you want to consider. Or you can consider this area or you can consider this area. Okay, if you are considering this area, you need to calculate the centroid of this portion, and from the distance of neutral axis, you need to calculate the y. Okay, similarly, if you are considering this area, you need to calculate y bar on the centroidal axis. Okay, it depends upon you which area you want to consider. Okay, so let us move further. Let us discuss this problem. Okay, so before moving to the problem, first we will need to calculate what will be the moment of inertia of this beam about the neutral axis, and what will be the centroid of this cross section. Okay, where the centroid of this cross section will lie, right? Because we'll use this formula tau equals to V into A y bar over I into B. Okay. So to start with the problem, it is better to first calculate the moment of inertia I and y bar. Okay. Our beam is look like this. Let us suppose this is a cantilever beam. Okay. Load is applied 800 lb load is applied over at the end. Okay. So first we'll calculate the what will be the centroid of this beam, centroid of this cross section, and moment of inertia of this cross section, right? So we'll draw one figure over here. Right. So this distance at 10 inch. Thickness of this web is 1.5 inch, and this total distance is what, 3 inch. This thickness is 1 inch. Okay. This is again 3 inch. And this is again 10 inch, and this is 1 inch. Right. So I need to calculate these first, the centroid of this cross section. Okay, which is a very important thing. So I'm taking this reference axis from here. X-axis is our reference axis. So let us y bar of this cross section will be, it is noted by y bar. It will lie at some location. It will be lying at some location. Let us suppose this is y bar. Okay. So first I'm taking this cross section area, 10 into 1.5 into y bar. I'm not discussing how to calculate the centroid. I'm just keeping the value in the formula. Okay. So 10 into 1.5 into 5 inch. Right. This area number 1. Okay, now this area number 2, which is again equals to 10 into 1 inch into 10, this is 1 inch, so this will be equals to 10 into 1 into 10.5. Okay, so again this thing now we will now in this area 1 is we have taken, area 2 is taken, now these two area we need to take. Okay, plus 2 into 3 into 1, 2 because we need to consider 2 area. Okay, the centroid of this it will lie at, from top it will lie at 1.5 inch. Okay, so this is 1.5, so this total distance is 10 plus 11, so 11 minus 1.5. So this is what, 11 minus 1.5 is nothing but 9.5. Okay, 11.5, 11 is 10, 11, 11 minus 1.5. So 11 minus 1.5 is 9.5. Okay, upon the total area is nothing but 10 into 1.5 plus 10 into 1 plus 3 into 1 into 2. Right? So this value will, this if we solve this value, calculate this value, it will give the centroid. Okay, so 10 into 1.5 into 5 plus 10 into 1 into 10.5 plus 2 into 3 into 1 into 9.5 divide 10 into 1.5 plus 10 into 1 plus 6. So the centroid is coming out to be 7.645. Okay. So the centroidal distance from this reference axis is 7.645, right? So now I need to calculate what will be the moment of inertia. Okay, the centroid is calculated. So we have calculated the centroid of this cross section. Now we'll calculate the moment of inertia. Moment of inertia is it's about neutral axis, axis. Okay, about which the bending is taking place. Okay, so moment of inertia about the axis for which bending for which bending moment of about the axis for about moment of inertia about the axis about which bending is taking place. Okay, about which bending is taking place. Okay, right? So we need to calculate the moment of inertia about this axis. So first I will calculate the moment of inertia of this cross section. Okay, this one cross section. So it will be nothing but 10 cube into 1.5 over 12 plus 10 into 1.5 into 7.645 minus of 5. The centroidal of this axis will be at 5. So through transfer theorem, parallel transfer theorem, it will be 2.645 whole square. Right? So this is one thing. Then plus the moment of inertia of this cross section about this centroidal axis. So it will be nothing but 10 into 1 cube over 12 plus 10 into 1, 10 into 1 into the distance between this centroid and this neutral axis will be, it will be 7 11 minus 7.645, then minus 1 point minus 0.5. It will be 2.855 whole square. Okay. Plus, now I need to take these two cross sections. So first I'll take 2 into this is nothing but 3 cube into 1 upon 12 plus 2 into 3 into 1 3 into 1 3 into 1, again it will be 11 minus 7.645 minus 1.5. So it is coming out to be 1.855 whole square. Okay. So I need to calculate these terms, need to simplify these terms. Okay, so 10 cube into 1.5 by 12 plus 10 into 1.5 into 2.5. So this term is coming out to be 229.94. That is inch 4 inch power 4. This term will come out. This term comes out to be 2. 82.343. This terms comes out to be 2 into 3. 1.8. So this value comes out to be 25.456. Okay, so if I add these three values, 82.343 plus 229.94, the moment of inertia is coming out to be I equals to 337.429 inch to the power 4. Okay, so this is the moment of inertia of this cross section about this neutral axis. Okay, why have we have taken this neutral axis? Because the bending is taking place about this axis only. Okay, this is our bending axis. The beam is bending like this. The beam is bending like this. Okay, the beam is bending like this. So it is bending about this axis. So moment of inertia is calculated. So I is nothing but I equals to 337.429 inch 4 inch to the power 4. Okay. So you need to be careful with the units. Here the units are given in pounds and inch. So moment of inertia is calculated, centroid is calculated. Now the actual part of the problem will start. Okay, this moment of inertia and calculation of centroid. This is the basic thing. Now for this I will divide this problem into two parts. Okay, first I will calculate the spacing of this portion, that is S, and then I calculate the spacing that is S dash. Okay, so to move further, V is given in the problem, I is given. What are the unknowns over here? A is unknown, Y bar is unknown, B is unknown. Okay. So this Y bar is not the centroid. Okay. This Y bar will calculate with respect to the which area we are considering. Okay. Now first we are coming to this problem. Okay. For calculation of this name. So S we have to find, right? So first thing we have to look in this problem is that what part is connected to this portion is connected to this portion by name, by fasteners or name. It is look like this. If this part is will look like this. Let us suppose. Okay. So let us suppose at this portion the shear stress is generated is in this direction. Right? For this portion, shear stress will be acting in this direction. Okay, this is not the top side. I'm talking about this side. Okay, I'm talking about this side, right? To be precise. Okay, so these two cross sections, let us suppose this is the beam. This is this cross section. I'm taking this cross section, and this is what you can say. This is the flange portion, right? So the cross section, you can see that the fastener is restricting this movement. Okay, so the effective B will be this only. Effective B will be thickness of this flange only, right? Which is helping resisting this relative movement. Okay, so first we are sure about what will be the B. Okay, so B will be the thickness of this portion. right? So B is not B. We have calculated B is what 1 inch, right, for this portion. Now, the thing is that if I break this, similarly one this part will be here. Okay, some shear stresses will generate at this portion also. Right, in this portion also some shear stress will generate, and to balance that this thing, some shear stress will generate on in this surface also. Okay, so now I need to calculate the shear stress at this level, at this junction. I need to calculate the shear stress, right? So what moment of area I need to consider? Okay, if I apply a cut over here, okay, I need to calculate the shear stress at this point. I will apply a cut over here. So this portion will look like this, okay, and the remaining portion, if I apply a cut over here, and the remaining portion will look like this. Okay, now it's upon me, which area I need to consider. Okay, whether I need to consider this area, or I need to consider this complete area. Okay, because and this is the cut, this is the portion where I need to calculate the shear stress. Okay, it's upon me whether I need to consider this area, this complete area, or this area. So the choice is obvious. We will consider this area only, because the calculation will be much simpler for this if I take this area, right? If I can take also this area, this complete area, but the calculation will be difficult. I need to calculate again the y bar of this cross section. Okay, for this cross section, y bar is easily known, because it will be acting at the center of this. It will be at the center of this rectangle. So I will consider this area. Okay, so the choice of the area is very, very important over here. Okay, and the effective B is what, 1 inch. So now I will calculate the first moment of area. First A y bar. Okay. So A y bar from the centroidal axis. From this axis, I need to calculate the A y bar. So y bar will be acting at this 1.5 inch centroid. From this centroid of this cross section is at 1.5 inch from the top. So this remaining distance will be nothing but, this remaining distance is 11 minus 7.645 minus 1.5. This remaining distance is nothing but 1.855. Okay, so y bar of this portion from the neutral axis 855. This is a very important thing, right? So area is nothing but area is 3 into 1 into 1.5 1.855. Okay, so as you can see that a y bar, we have calculated the expression for a y bar. We will just calculate this value. Now we will put this thing in the formula. Tau equals to what? Maximum shear force is nothing but 700. Okay, and what will be the y bar? A y bar is nothing but 3 into 1 into 1.855. Okay, upon me, what is the moment of inertia? Moment of inertia is already calculated, 374.29 into, and what will be the B? B is nothing but 1 inch. Okay, B is nothing but 1 inch. So tau equals to 700 into 3 into 1 into 1.855. Okay, so tau is coming out to be 11 Newton per inch square. You should be very careful with the units. Okay, now tau is coming. What will be the shear flow at this location? Shear flow is what? Tau into B is equals to shear flow. B is 1 inch, because this width is only effective in resisting the movement. Okay, so tau is what? 11.544 into B is what? B is 1 inch equals to Q. So Q is 11.544 Newton per inch. Right? Now we need to calculate what will be the spacing S. Okay, so over this shear stress is distributed over this width B. Okay, so if this is the spacing of the nails, if this is the spacing of the nails, or you can see that. Okay, if this is the spacing of the nails, right? So Q into what? Q into spacing is equals to shear force resisted by each nail. Okay, this Q is distributed. This Q is distributed. This Q is distributed in this length. Okay, this Q is distributed in this length. Let us suppose this is the effective width B. Okay, so this is, let us suppose B, width of the section is width which is resisting B. So this Q is distributed is in this cross section, in this portion only. Okay, the Q will be distributed like this, right? You can see that this is the width B. The Q is distributed like this. Okay, so we'll multiply. We need to multiply it with the spacing of the nail for each nail for the spacing of the nails to get the value or to get the shear force value for each nail. Okay, so when Q is multiplied by S, so Q is nothing but 11.544 into S equals to, what is the maximum shear force? 700, right? So now 700 divided by 11.544 is inch. 11.54 inch. Oh, maximum shear force is coming is not 700. Maximum shear force each nail can handle is 100 pounds. Okay, so 100 divided by 11.544 is nothing but 8.66 inch. Okay, 8.66 inch is what the spacing required, right? So this is the spacing required. This is the spacing required for this portion of the nail. Okay, so this spacing is 8.66 inch, right? But in practical case, you will provide less than this. Okay, so it will be 8.6 inch. So our design value will be, spacing will be 8.6 inch, right? So this portion is calculated. The spacing is calculated for this portion. By symmetry, same spacing is provided for this portion also. Okay. Now we need to we'll move to the second part and we'll calculate the spacing of these nails or these fasteners. Right? So now you are seeing that what is the importance of the first moment of area. I mean, which first moment of area we need to consider. Now we are required to find the spacing between these nails. Okay, so our figure will look like this. Okay, and I'm applying a cut over here. Okay, why I'm applying the cut over here? Because I need to find the shear stress at this junction. Okay, so if I need to find the shear stress at this junction, I'm taking one cut here. I'm making one cut here to show how the stresses are varying. Okay, now this is our neutral axis. Now it is on our hand which area I need to consider. Either I can consider this area to calculate the first moment of area, this complete area we need to consider. Either we need to consider this area, or we can consider this area. Okay. As you can see the figure, this which for calculating the centroid, which figure is simple. This figure is simple. This is a pure rectangle case. Here there are three rectangles, but here only single rectangle. So we can easily find the centroid of this area, right? So we will, for calculating the shear stress at this location, I'm taking the area beneath the cut. I'm taking the area below the cut. Okay, I can take this complete area also, but I'm taking this area beneath this cut, right? So our area which we will need to calculate will be this 1.5 into 10. Okay, how the shear stress are varying at this point will it will look like this. Okay, if this is the if this is the this portion, so at this location the shear stress will look like this. Okay, so we need to find this shear stress distribution. Okay, we need to find this shear stress distribution, right? This is an important thing. Why we have taken this cross section, why we have taken the why we are taking this area, this thing we have discussed. Okay, so now what will be the let us the centroid of this area is at what distance? It will be 5 inch from this reference axis. Okay, so what will be my AY bar? AY bar is nothing but 10 into 1.5. Okay, so this is 5 inch. So what will be the distance? What will be the Y bar? The Y bar is nothing but 7 point. This distance is 7.645, which will be 7.645 minus of 5 inch. Right? So this thing comes out to be 10 into 1.5 into 2.645. So this thing is nothing. AY bar is equals to area 39.675 inch cube. This is not volume. Okay, this is unit is looking like volume, but it is not the volume. Okay, so AY bar is done. We are done with AY bar. Now tau equals to what? B into AY bar over my I into B. Okay. Now you can see that what will be the V? V is 700 pounds. AY bar is 39.675. I will be same because because the bending is taking about this axis, neutral axis. So I will be 337.429. Okay, into what will be the B? B will be this 1.5. Okay, this will be our B because now this effective width is helping in resisting is helping in providing the shear resistance. Okay, so B will be 1.5. Okay, so if I calculate this thing, so tau is coming out to be 54.87 Newton per inch square. Okay, this is the shear stress which is generating at this point. Okay, this is the value of shear stress which is generating at this point. Okay, across the width we are taking it the same. Okay, so this is the value of tau 54. What will be the shear flow? Shear flow Q is nothing but 54.87 into B is 1.5. So into 1.5 will give the value 82.30 Newton per inch. Okay. Now for calculating this Q into S, now Q into S will give you the shear force in each nail. Maximum shear force in each nail is given 100 pounds. So Q into S will give the 100. So Q is 82.30 into S is equals to 100. Okay. This is not Newton. This is pound actually. LB per inch square. Okay, so 82.30 100 divided by 82.30. This is 1.21 inch. Okay, so for this location, the spacing of the nails is S dash की value है 1.21 inch. Okay, the spacing of the nail is 1.2 inch. Okay, you can see that the more spacing is required at this location, and the more spacing is required at less spacing is required at this location. So shear stress at this portion is very large as compared to shear stress generated at this point. Okay, so we are done with this problem over here. This is a very good problem to understand what moment of area we need to take. Okay. I have discussed this thing in details. If you have any doubt how the shear stresses are generated, you can follow the previous lecture. Okay, because these things are already discussed in details which moment of inertia we need to take. Okay, so any cross section you will take, any portion you can take, but your moment of inertia will always remain constant. Don't confuse with it. Like suppose we need to take IXS or IY. The thing, while deriving the formula, which moment of inertia you are taking, that will be the moment of inertia for the entire cases. Okay. So this is the problem we have discussed over here. I think I cleared my point. I cleared the things which I want to tell. So if you still have any doubt, you can write in the comment section. Okay, guys. So thank you very much.